Hi there, my name's Alasdair Kennedy and I'm the Sociable social worker, and I give practical advice to social workers and those wanting to foster and adopt. And in this video we're going to look at adoption and the differences between voluntary adoption agencies and local authorities, and what to expect if you're looking to adopt, what you'll find when you contact an adoption agency or a local authority, and the pros and the cons. Okay, so let's get into it. So at the end of March 2020, there was 151 local authority adoption agencies, there was 22 regional adoption agencies, and there was 34 voluntary adoption agencies in the UK. There are 9 other voluntary agencies in the UK, but most of them are outside England or in Scotland, and in Wales has a national adoption agency. So those are the numbers. There were about 2,800 children waiting as of the 31st of March 2019. New stats for 2020 haven't come out yet. That's really just because of COVID. And that was a decrease of about 130 kids from December 2018. According to Coram Bath stats, about 41% of children waiting at the 31st of March 2019 have been waiting for about 18 months or more, and that was an increase from the previous year. So if you're looking to adopt, there are 2 options. You turn to your local authority adoption services or adoption agency, you look at voluntary adoption agencies, or some of the local authorities are combining the services into what's called regional adoption agencies. I'll cover all of these in the next part of this video. So both LAS and VAAs have trained social workers to guide you through the adoption and application process. They also run information evenings and training sessions to help you find the right child once you've been approved to adopt. In England, there are lots of RAS now, as I said before, regional adoption agencies, and that's everything combined together. And the difference between LAs, RAS and VAAs is that LAs have their own children. In other words, those are children who are looked after in the care of the local authority. VAAs work with local authorities and regional adoption agencies in partnership, but they are regionally based. Others are national, but they actually don't. They help to place children all over the country, but they don't have children in their care. If a voluntary adoption agency makes a match and places a child, then there is a fee given to the voluntary adoption agency, but it's a not-for-profit, so they don't make any money out of it. I've spoken about this in other videos about fostering and adoption, that you don't have to go to the LA that's closest to you. You can shop about, probably better to do it regionally, but it's best to shop about and go to some of their online events at the moment because of COVID, and basically make sure that you speak to staff, and if staff are quite flat or not interested, then walk away from that and go somewhere else. The reason being is you need someone to be really positive about your adoption and pushing that forward. Remember, you can go to as many as you like in terms of adoption agencies, RAS, VAAs, but you can only pick one to be assessed with. So you can only pick one. So you need to pick one that you're really comfortable with on that initial stages of your adoption journey. So attending information evenings or virtual information evenings will give you a feel for the ethos of the agency and how they work. But crucially, what the questions you want to ask are, what training have you got, and post-adoption support. That's really crucial. What is the support post-adoption? So what are the voluntary adoption agencies and pros? I mean, some of them have been running for a number of years. A few in particular have been running for about 100 years. So they're truly independent, and some can be even family run. They can match right across the country, which is important, and they have innovative training, very specific training. But if they're a bit older, an older agency, it's best to have a look at the training and see if it's still fresh and they're refreshing it regularly. They'll be able to offer you a lot of therapy and a lot of counselling, which is going to be really important. Assessments can often be done a lot quicker because sometimes they do it in-house, so consistency is pretty good, and usually it can be about 8 to 10 weeks quicker than a local authority. They will have good multidisciplinary teams and very experienced staff. They are very child focused and are carer focused, and like everything nowadays, they're trauma led, and they may have an access to a wider adoptive group, post-adoptive groups, adoptive teen groups, you know, lots of things that you can cap into if you're wanting to start your journey in adoption or are some way down the line in your adoption journey. So what are the voluntary agency cons? Funding can be an issue. Some of the recent voluntary adoption agencies have ceased trading, and that's really just because of the money not coming from the local authorities, and a lot of the local authorities up in their game and doing things in-house. Therapy services, they may vary, so you're best checking beforehand. Local authorities obviously have children that they want to place, voluntary adoption agencies don't. There are post-adoption support, you need to check on that as well, because there are some smaller agencies that might be a bit loose and a bit not as thorough as it can be, and they might have a smaller adoptive pool to share experiences. So what about local authorities? What about regional adoption agencies? You'll remember I said a lot of local authorities are pooling their resources and setting up regional adoption agencies. At the moment, there's 22 in existence, and there's a lot more coming. So what are the pros for local authorities and regional adoption agencies? Well, they're larger, aren't they? And they have children in their care. VAAs don't have children. The adopter timelines for local authorities have improved immensely. In 2018 and 19, 32% of approvals made by local authorities have been made within the first 6 months of registration, which compares to about 31% in 2017 and 18. So improved timeliness, and that's only going to get better with the regional adoption agencies as well. And timeliness of assessments have improved, and now they've got them down to about 7 months. They may take on older parents to adopt, and they've got schemes for those things. They've usually got They usually have stable staff teams and stable training teams and stable marketing teams that can bring everything together for adopters. Local authorities will have a good community of adopters. They'll have straightforward access to CAMs, to therapists and to disability teams. Let's face it, they're always financially secure, well, reasonably financially secure. And as I said before, the RAS have pulled their resources and expertise, and the speed of adoption has improved. They've got local kids and young people, if that's important to you, to keep something local. They're a central point of access for service users, and that's important as well for people. So what are the cons? Well, their assessments can be slow, especially if they outsource their assessments. A lot of local authorities don't do them in-house anymore. If they use outside assessors, there can be a lack of consistency with assessments and lack of training for assessors. So it's important that you make sure that your assessor's properly trained. The RAS are still very much in their infancy, and bureaucracy is rife. It's a local authority. I have to say it's not so much in the trusts, but they're a trust for a reason. But bureaucracy is still rife in local authorities. So if you're looking to adopt, the number of people looking to adopt and registering is about 4,000 last year, and that is an increase on the year before. And the number of children adopted has decreased to about 3,450, so about a 7% drop. I'm not going to go into the whys and the wherefores of why that is, but let's just say there's a lot of competition to adopt, and there's not a lot of children out there to be adopted, unless you want to take on what we badly say is the harder to place children with disability or children with some issues in their background. But as I said in a previous video, adoption is transformative for the carer and for the adoptee. And as I say, I was adopted, it was transformative for me, and it was a really, really positive journey for me, and it keeps being a journey. So wherever you are in your journey, best of luck. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe, press the subscribe button, and if you want notifications for further videos, because I'll be doing stuff on adoption, then ring that little bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. Okay, thanks for your time.